My Australian accent sucks. Okay, just enjoy the intro video.
Hi everyone, Raygun here. I just want to start by thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad I was able to bring some joy into your lives. That's what I hoped. I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. Well, I went out there and I had fun. I did take it very seriously. I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics, and I gave my all, truly. I'm honoured to have been a part of the Australian Olympic team and to be part of Breaking's Olympic debut. What the other athletes have achieved has just been phenomenal.
It might be the first and last time.
In regards to the allegations and misinformation floating around, I'd like to ask everyone to please refer to the recent statement made by the AOC, as well as the posts on the Breaking Instagram page, as well as the WDSF Breaking for Gold page. Bit of a fun fact for you. There are actually no points in breaking. If you want to see how the judges thought I compared to my opponents, you can actually see the comparison percentages across the 5 criteria on Olympics.com. All the results are there.
Listen to this part.
I'm going to be in Europe for a few weeks for some pre-planned downtime, but I'd really like to ask the press please stop harassing
asking questions.
My family, my friends,
me,
the Australian breaking community,
don't ask
and
anybody.
The broader street dance community.
And the broader
everyone has been through a lot.
Oh, they've been through a lot.
As a result of this, so I ask you to please respect their privacy. I'll be happy to answer more questions on my return to Australia. Thanks, everyone.
Just appreciate actually that last request there. I'd like to ask you to not ask anybody questions, not my family, not my friends, not me, not the Australian Olympic Committee or the Australian Olympic Committee. Oh, AOC. Oh, geez, I thought AOC was diving into defending breakdancers. I'm joking, I didn't. It's the same acronym. I don't want you to ask journalists. Stop harassing, because when you ask questions that we don't want to answer, that is called harassment, eh? Don't ask my parents, friends, family, Australian Olympic Olympic Committee, the breakdancing community at large. Don't ask many questions as to what the hell you all just witnessed at the international scale. Now, everybody, there are serious things to talk about in life, and every now and again, there are less serious things, and we need to cleanse the palate from the serious with the less serious, which is why we're starting with this tonight. Her name is Raygun, or at least her dance name is Raygun. And there was controversy. I'm not playing the breakdancing video clips because apparently what the Olympic Committee does when they don't want people covering news-worthy events, they go and issue abusive copyright claims on anybody rebroadcasting, even for the purposes of news and commentary, that monstrosity of a breakdance routine that we all saw, that we all thought was a joke. Like I thought it was a skit when I saw it on Twitter. So I'm not playing the breakdancing thing, but you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, go look at it, because it's the best part was when she did the Australian this thing. And for anybody who listens to Lonely Island, you know, there's a song called The Creep. But let your hands flop around like a marionette and do the creep, ha, and do the creep, ha. And that's what it looked like. It looked like she was imitating a T-Rex, not a flipping kangaroo. So the performance generated some outrage, or at least some public interest. People started going a little nuts, and the world started looking into it. It's an amazing thing. I kind of do feel bad for her, because I don't think anybody expected this level of public scrutiny or public mockery. But my goodness, when you are at the pinnacle of athletic performance, athletic perfection, the Olympics, and you get out and you do something so bad, it's not like Cool Runnings where you're like, oh, how did a Jamaican team that never did luge make it there? And, oh, they made it there. Well, they don't have snow in Jamaica, so we can understand how they're that bad. It's not that the performance was that bad in the context of the talent pool. coming out of Australia. The issue was, how was that the best that Australia has to offer for breakdancing? And if you thought maybe because she lacked in experience, she made up with education. So there's a number of things here you gotta actually appreciate. Raygun has a PhD in breakdancing. Oi, where is it? It's right here. Check it out. First of all, Snopes is going to have to go correct themselves. Olympic breakdancing Raygun has PhD in breakdancing. Rachel Gunn earned 0 in breakdancing at the Olympic Games. Well, Snopes, you want to stop it with the harassment? We just heard Raygun say they don't actually offer points. It's comparative and it involves artistic creativity. So Snopes is spreading disinformation and misinformation here by mocking Raygun for having allegedly gotten 0 points. She's got a PhD in breakdancing. I say this without judgment, although there's a little bit of judgment in it. Learning anything is good. The history of breakdancing, I am very certain it's phenomenally interesting. Learning the styles and the tactics and the skills and which muscles are triggered, because it's like you got cardio, you got a fast muscle reflex, you got thinking man. Okay, I'm sorry, that's not isolation. Oh, okay, that was the statement, I guess, that they were the statement here. Rachel Raygun, Australia breakdancer who competed in the 2024 Paris Olympics, has a PhD in breakdancing mixture. Let's hear this. What's true? Gunn's PhD thesis titled Deterritorial. This all just got a lot worse, people. Deterritorializing gender in Sydney's breakdancing scene, a B-girl's experience of B-boying, did cover the topic of breakdancing. However, what's false, Gunn earned her PhD in cultural studies. Moreover, a PhD in breakdancing does not exist as an academic discipline. You know, the funny thing is, I was going to say, wow, we just found a PhD that's actually more useless than a PhD in gender studies or a PhD in cultural studies. I say this as someone who has an honors degree in philosophy. So it's false. She has a degree in, or she wrote her thesis on deterritorializing gender in Sydney's breakdancing scene, a B-girl's experience of B-boying. Wow. And I also say this as well. Here you go. You see, I'm not even playing it. I'm not even playing it. Go, here you go. You got the whole story, and it's amazing. But now we've heard from Raygun herself. Don't ask any questions as to how I got there, because I don't want to answer them. And the problem is, however, it seems that she might not have gotten there through what are typically referred to as totally kosher means. Where is the breakdancing analysis of this? Aussie breakdance. I think this is it right here. Let me see something here. Yeah, so this is the oh, that's not it. There was a whole thread where the breakdancing person right there, that's not it, has been accused of rigging the primary, the talent tryouts to see who from Australia gets to go to the Olympics, and accused of rigging it, which would explain how what some might feel to be not the most talented of breakdancers made it to the end. Let me see if I can not find this thread. It's a long thread. Okay, we got Raygun Kicks. So it was in this thread here. Kicks did the breakdown. Whatever. The allegation is that she might have had an involvement in rigging the process, which resulted in her being there. But the disinformation, misinformation, catch-all, harassment. Don't ask any questions. It's harassing. And that's it. I think it made a joke out of it. Tim Pool had an interesting theory that it was a deliberate sabotage because real breakdancers don't want to see breakdancing in the Olympics. But on the lighter side of things, that's that. I wrote an essay at McGill University that was entitled "Everything I Learned in Life, I Learned from The Simpsons," or it was a Simpsons Guide to the History of America, something along those lines. And I talked about famous scenes or awesome scenes from The Simpsons that actually taught you meaningful lessons about American history. I think I did well on that. The teacher subsequently became relatively controversial, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. All right, peeps. Good afternoon. How goes the battle? Another day in the world on fire. And as the world burns, you must not forget to take care of yourself. This is the thing. You have an obligation to treat your body like a temple. And I say that as someone who may or may not have treated his body as less than a temple from time to time. Your body's a temple. You're made in the image of God. And no matter what happens to the world, you have an obligation to yourself, your loved ones, your family to stay healthy, stay fit, and be able to take care of yourself and your loved ones, especially the ones who rely on you on a daily basis. And the easiest way to do that is by taking care of your health and by eating healthy and getting your fruits and veggies in. And on the issue of Olympics, most of us are not trying to become Olympians, but but who doesn't want to feel strong, healthy, and at the end of the day, have energy left in the tank? That's not happening without good nutrition. That's why I take Field of Greens. You're supposed to have between 5 and 7 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, and most people do not have those. And even if you do have those, 1 spoonful twice a day of Field of Greens. It's whole organic fruits and vegetables, no extracts, no lab-made stuff. Just 1 scoop gives you real, simple nutrition. Field of Greens feeds your body with fruits and vegetables, medically chosen to support your heart, vital organs, immune system. It gives you steady energy throughout the day, no afternoon crashes, better sleep, and better gut stuff going on in your belly. Swap out negative habits and bad habits for good habits. Don't have a disgusting sucralose-laden diet, drink whatever the hell in the afternoon. A spoonful morning and afternoon. And even if you get all your fruits and veggies, you'll get 2 more servings, all of the antioxidant, wonderful stuff that desiccated greens has to offer. Field of Greens is my go-to for my nutrients, even on the bad eating days, and I don't have very many of them. Go to fieldofgreens.com. It brings you to Brickhouse Nutrition. You'll get 15% off your first order and free shipping if you use promo code VIVA. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code VIVA. Fieldofgreens.com, promo code VIVA. Thank you, guys. It's delicious. It's wonderful. Stay healthy and be healthy. All right. Oh, my goodness. What was I going to segue in from there? Are we live across all of the various platforms of the interwebs? We are. Let me see that I'm not falling too far behind here. Where is the fire says nothing. But where is the fire donated? What are we going to talk about today? First of all, everybody, if you're new to the channel, I don't think many people are new to the channel. I'm sticking to my time slot. I have committed to it, and I'm a stubborn bastard. When I make a decision, I'm doing it. Hell or high water. 12:30 daily on Rumble, Viva Fry Live. I'm going to do as many of the car vlogs as I can. This afternoon, I'm going to do a car vlog on that Disney arbitration ruling, which we're going to talk about today. And the entire stream, after we stop on YouTube to go over to Rumble and vivabarneslaw.locals.com, is up on Viva Clips on CommieTube. Let me see here. She should start a dance school, Breaking Bad. That is from Prepared Citizen from our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. All right. What are we talking about today? Commie Kamala, commie policies. We're going to talk about the arbitration thing in Disney. It's horrible. We're going to talk about the predictions as to what's going to happen in Trump sentencing by Judge Marchand in September, and this wonderful conspiracy. It is a real conspiracy. That is to say, a plot involving 2 or more people, as far as I'm concerned, to interfere with the elections, because they're all going to loop together. Kamala's horrible commie policy, the fake people on the internet or real people who are bot accounts pushing commie policy as though it's the greatest thing since breadlines, to quote Bernie Sanders. And then you look into who's doing it, and then you trace it all back to Judge Marchand. And how do we get there? Don't worry, we're going to get there. Let's see. So for those of you who I have the Washington Post. I have the Washington Post. But first, let's just start with this. You had Stephen King the other day. I mean, unironically posting this picture. I feel bad for the guy. I mean, he genuinely looks like, I don't know, it's like you get older, your brain deteriorates and it turns into mush. And then apparently as you get older and your brain turns into mush, you end up celebrating the fact that an itch bay is telling you to shut up and sit down, like a subservient, self-hating, self-loathing person. That's pretty much what Stephen King and many Democrats are. He posts this picture. It's the Obama high contrast black, red, blue image. And it says, "I'm speaking." Now, he's wearing this unironically. He's not wearing this to make fun of her. Because if you had this shirt on, let's just say, a James Woods, you would assume that he was actually making fun of Kamala. Look, this is the so-called leader of the so-called Democrat Party telling protesters and her constituents to shut up, sit down, I'm speaking. But I contrasted it just like, oh my goodness, that's funny. He's playing off the Obama thing. And you go back to Obama. And you remember these images? We all remember them. Hope and change. I mean, it turned into hope for change, as in money. But he had change, that contrast there. Then he had the beautiful one, hope. Oh, remember when they gave him a Nobel Peace Prize? It went from hope and change to literally shut the hell up and sit down. I'm speaking. And that I think is a perfect embodiment of what the Democrat Party has become, because you can't win in the exchange of ideas. You can only win by shutting down, shutting up, and censoring, which is exactly what the Democrat Party pretty much is all about. MSM, Democrat-run Google, Gulag, YouTube, and the like. I just thought it was an amazing thing where the transition has been, well, shut up, I'm speaking. And by the way, don't disagree with my ideas, because if you do, you're just a greedy bastard capitalist. Kamala, even according to the Washington Post, hasn't put out very many policies. I'm sure you know this. She's been accused, actually, of not having any policies whatsoever, except for the ones that she stole from Donald Trump. Who was it that said, it was a CNN. It was a CNN video that I played the other day where they say, she's had surprisingly few ideas, and we need to get to the bottom of whether or not Kamala actually stole Trump's no tax on tips policy. Because we know she's been saying it, but we know that Trump's been saying it for a couple of months now. So did she just spontaneously think about it? Was it something her and Joe were talking about? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. It was under her regime with Joe Biden that they actually empowered the IRS to go after taxing tips, and actually implemented a voluntary software that you could download to more accurately pay taxes on your tips. Set that aside. Even CBC, or whatever the hell the three-letter agency Mockingbird Media was saying, yes, she's had surprisingly few ideas. And the jokes of the internet, which I only saw this morning, is that she's got more ideas. She's got fewer ideas than gender pronouns on her freaking website. I think it was Blair White that said that one, or I forget who might have said that one. So I'm listening to Bourbon with Barnes, as I typically do when I jog in the morning, catch up on the wisdom from the night before. And Barnes starts talking about, I don't know why he went. I mean, I guess he saw some tweets and he's like, yeah, you go apply for a job in the Kamala regime. I screenshotted this just to make sure that it was true, because I trust Barnes, but I'm still going to verify Barnes, especially when I think impossible. I'm listening to Barnes while I'm jogging, and he says, yeah, you go to her campaign website and apply for a job. They've got 9 pronouns that you can choose to identify when you submit your CV. Listen to this. It's not a joke. And then the joke became, she's got more choices for pronouns on her website than she has policies as VP presidential candidate. I got to pick people's brains here. Okay, fine. He, him, we understand. That's if you're born with XY chromosomes typically, or a penis, because you might have XX chromosomes internally, but external male. Okay, I'm sort of joking, talking about that French thing, the French debacle. He, him, we understand. She, her, we understand. They, them, I've taken issue with this. Okay, that's someone who says, I'm neither he nor she, I'm plural. I'm joking. They don't say I'm plural. They say I'm neither he nor she. So just, gender neutral, they. It becomes a real big problem when you're describing a so-called self-identifying they, them who's committed a crime, and you're saying they picked up the gun, and you're like, are there more than one person that did this? This is abuse. Anybody saying refer to me as they, them when you're talking about me to other people, it's psychological abuse. It's an act of dominance. It's an act of psychological violence. And it's also grammatically unsustainable, unjustifiable, and preposterous. They, them. They robbed the bank. How many were there? 1. Sorry, what? They, them. Okay. Z, them. I don't know if this is like, I don't know if this is supposed to be Chinese, and I'm not saying that as a joke. Like, they make the joke. President Xi identifies as she. I don't know if this is actually serious or they're intending to mock, and they're just seeing how far they can get away with it. Holy crap, guys. Like at the latest 2S LGBTQIA plus community meeting, they're like, guys, they actually took the ZZM. They don't realize we're actually making fun of 1.6 billion people. They bought it. XE/XEM. Now, thus far, by the way, we're noticing it's sort of the he, him. I forget how you distinguish that. ZZM. Okay. Then you got Z, her. Okay. So you got XE, which I presume is pronounced Z, but it might be she. which would be really confusing if you want to confuse it with she, or it's Z, in which case it's very confusing when you compare it to Z, her, which is very confusing when you have she, her. How the hell do you know if they spell the her with an H-I-R or an H-E-R? And what the hell is the difference between the Z, her and the her versus the she, her? This is, I'm taking crazy pills. This is absolute insanity. Sorry, I'm shouting. A-M, that's the Irish one. Aye, I-M, get out, eh? Here, fay, fair, who. What the hell is the point of having two of the same words, who? I mean, this is not a joke because it's actually not funny. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for institutionalized mental illness, and there's no other way around it. But she's got more pronoun options on her website than presidential proposed policy. It's a mind fight. No, but it's actually what it is. It's like it's pushing the limits of how far you can push polite people to go. I mean, it. Okay, so I just had to highlight that anyhow. So Barnes talked about it. It's like it's not possible. And then I went and I looked, and it is possible. And it seems that the internet had discovered this yesterday. And I'm late to the party, but holy crab apples, better late than never. So those are not policies. Those are options for gender preferences when you submit an application. And something tells me, if I had to take a guess, you check the he/him box, you go straight to the trash bin. Something tells me that, because you don't need to have a guy who identifies as he/him to have a guy who identifies as Z/zer and steals people's luggage. I'm talking about that guy who actually worked for the Biden campaign. I don't remember what his name was, what Z/zer's name was. But let's just get to the actual policy. She's a commie, copycat, cackling Kamala, coming out with commie policy. When I am president, when I have an elected role in office, this is the first thing I'm going to do when I'm in office. I'm going to solve all of the problems of the last administration. You elect me to office, I promise you, I will solve the problems of the last administration. Oops, what's that? I'm not really vice president right now. When I am president, it will be a day one priority to bring down prices. I'll take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging and corporate landlords that unfairly raise rents on working families. I mean, I don't even understand this. Are you not going to raise rents? Are you not going to oppose corporate landlord? First of all, what the hell is a corporate landlord? Like, is that a landlord who doesn't work for the state? Like, okay, just break it down. What's a corporate landlord? If I were to own a property as an individual, would I be a corporate landlord? Or do I have to work for a corporation in order to be a corporate landlord? Or is a corporate landlord anybody who does not work for the state? So you're going to go after, it sounds to me like private ownership for rental that unfairly raise rent on working families. Does that mean that I mean, what's the exclusion there? Are you not going to go after them if they unfairly raise rent on people who are not working families? I don't understand it. Bottom line, price control, a pure communist principle. But the beauty of it, and it's like, this is why I feel like I'm not chasing windmills, because these things actually exist. I feel like I'm not like I'm screaming at clouds. I feel like I'm just taking crazy pills, because you get her saying this on the one hand, while Joe Biden is simultaneously stumping about how he beat Big Pharma. Kamala's also going to go after, drug prices, took down inflation, and yet Kamala's got to impose price controls to bring down inflation. I mean, and she's going to solve all of the problems that have arisen under her tenure as vice president and under the regime that she's currently a part of. And it's so bad that even the Washington Post is calling her out on it. And it's an amazing thing. You've seen the headline. Let me pull it up. The Washington Post says, when you're being accused of being a commie, it's a really bad idea to implement commie policies. Yeah, just check this out. It's like occasionally, a broken clock is right twice a day unless the clock puts on a minute, in which case it's going to be right much less often than that. Washington Post opinion: when your opponent calls you a communist, maybe don't propose price controls. To which I retorted, but what if she's actually a communist? mean, what if she's telling you that she's a communist and you're pretending that she's not telling you she's a communist? You give it a nice name, equity. So one man's socialism, to quote Tim No Balls Walls, is another man's good neighbor. Yeah, they're one man's socialism is another's good neighbor until that neighbor likes what the other neighbor has more than what they have. So she's telling you she's a communist. She's now campaigning on implementing commie policies, price control on food. I won't go into the academics or the economics on why it has never worked. But if you limit the profits unfairly, if you don't let the market decide and you go in and limit cap prices, but you don't actually even address the underlying cost increases, which is what they are also proposing, you're going to get less people producing because corporations are not charities. They shouldn't illegally price gouge, but you shouldn't look at them like they are charities unless you are a commie who works for the state and thinks that they are entities that should belong to or be run by the state. And in which case you have the state taking over private manufacture, private corporations' production of food, and messing everything up much in the same way Stalin did back during the Great Famine. The government doesn't do things better than private enterprise. And when you talk about capping prices on food, you're not going to get people to work harder to sell more to make less. They're just going to make less. And the demand is not going to go down. The supply is going to go down. And that's how communism leads to famine. Oh, and then rent control on properties. What she's talking about, understand it, by the way. Government's going to build properties, or at least nationalize properties, limit rent, and we're going to nationalize private ownership. And to pretend that the issue about home ownership is actually a result of supply and not interest rates. I mean, it's just these are like academic mistakes that she's making, but they sound good to people, to the have-nots. Yeah. What happened? Well, this is Bill Mitchell. Let me see who Bill Mitchell is. I know that I see him quite often. CEO of Your Voice Studios, host Your Voice America. I'm endorsing Trump because we must beat Commie Kamala at all costs. I did not know that he called her Commie Kamala. He spells it with a K. I have to go with the C because I don't want to be accused of any 3K alliterations. Gee, what happened the last time the government got involved with everyone buying a home? Do you remember what happened? It's like, this is the other thing. Commie Kamala's base is so young and so ignorant, they don't remember the 2008 housing crash. Why did it happen? Well, because the government basically said everybody gets a home. Whether you can afford it or not, you get a home. And then what ended up happening? People couldn't afford it. Oh my goodness, the subprime mortgage, whatever, a little more complicated. But they come out and pretend that the issue as to what's going on with the housing crisis is supply. And let's just even assume that that's the case. The problem is, if there is a supply problem, that there's not enough to meet the demand or there's not enough to meet the amount of people, they are simultaneous. It's not that, by the way, it's not that. But let's just operate on their own premises, which is the easiest way of devastating someone's argument. Okay, Kamala, you say the problem is that there's not enough houses in America to meet those who want houses. So if we build more houses, we'll be able to meet that demand. All right. If the issue is that there's not enough houses, why the hell are you letting in 15 million illegal immigrants? Do you think that that's going to exacerbate the problem if the problem, according to you, is lack of supply? The answer is yes, obviously. So they say, okay, the problem is that there's not enough, and yet we are exacerbating that problem through a porous southern border, 15 at least million illegal immigrants coming in. Now they're saying, well, we don't have enough homes for Americans, so we're going to order that millions of houses be built. Who's going to build them? We're going to give incentives for them. Oh, what happens when you give private corporations incentives to build things? It jacks up the price of the product. The incentives for electric vehicles didn't bring down the prices of the vehicles. So even on their own logic, it's idiotic, it's stupid. And they're exacerbating the problem that they think they've identified, even though it's flawed. The issue is not a supply problem. The issue is interest rates, and the issue is income. People are not making enough money, and they can't borrow money because interest rates are at a 22-year high. Why? Partly because people printed a ton of money, and partly because of inflation. That's also being caused by this corrupt regime. But she promises on day one she's going to solve inflation that they've caused. They're going to build houses by effectively nationalizing houses. They're going to put price caps on products. And how did that work out during Mao's revolution? How did that work out during Stalin? It doesn't work out. It never works out. But it sounds so good to the have-nots when you promise them, vote for my utopia, and in 10 years you'll have a very grumbling stomach and no home still. We'll get to something in a second here. Let me bring this back here. We got from our community and locals. It says she should start a dance school. Breaking Bad. No, I got that one. Viva, here we go. Pasha Moyer or P Moyer. Viva, when you mentioned something about a car vlog later today, I thought for just a second that you were going to do a Jay Leno analysis of automobiles. Then, as they say, I woke up. I'm not doing. No. I don't know anything about vehicles. Ganta says your transformation is complete, former Canadian. Viva, once a mild-mannered, polite, non-cussing Canadian, has now been corrupted by American, and become a wild Florida man fighting gators. Have a beer on me. I should probably swear less. I was doing the Unusual Suspects on Wednesday, and Vinny was saying, I'm not getting baptized anytime soon, people, so don't hold your breath for that. But Vinny just got baptized, Vinny Oshana, as did Russell Brandon. It's a beautiful thing to see people coming to religion. Even if I don't share that aspect, I appreciate its value, and we're going to get into that in a second. But Vinny says, I'm trying to be a better Christian. I'm trying to live in the image of Christ, and I need to stop swearing. And as he said it, I kind of immediately felt guilty because I have been swearing maybe a little too much. Sometimes you need to cuss those that need cussing, but also do not let them drag you down, because that is what they try to do. I'm not sure that there's anything wrong with swearing. I'm still battling that, but we'll see. Sammy says the campaign is assuming people identify their singular pronouns as plural pronouns the same way. How dare they err? I bet they will change it by the end of the month. Laughing my ass off. So they're idiots. It's like, we've met. Here. Listen to this. It's going to be amazing. This is Mike Nellis. Now, I'm not going to show you who Mike Nellis is just yet, because this is going to segue into part 2 here. Just read Kamala Harris's housing plan. It's excellent and really simple too. This is like it's written by an AI tard. Is what it's written. It's like, hey, I just read the plan. It is excellent and really simple too. Democrats usually hurt themselves with complicated plans that are hard to explain. This is good and easy. It's an easy sell. You know what else is an easy sell? Snake oil. You know what else is an easy sell? Counterfeits. You know what else is an easy sell? Lies. Utopias. Thank you. Oh, it's an easy sell. It's an easy sell, especially when you're dealing with low information, idiot base. Okay, let me know. It's an easy sell. I'm going to build millions of new housing units. I'm going to take on corporate landlords. I'm going to give you $25,000 to buy your house. That'll work. That'll work if you are a camel tard. That's it. Hold on. Camel tard. That will work. Hey, I'm going to build millions of houses. Who's going to build them? Who's going to pay for them? Where are they going to go? Just 3 minor questions that come with the first one. Who's going to pay for them? Well, corporations are going to pay for them. All right, who's going to buy them? Well, people are going to buy them. Well, they can't borrow money. Well, we're going to give them $25,000. Where are you going to get that $25,000 from? Either print it or tax it. So we're going to, and what's that $25,000 that everyone now is just going to be, here's $25,000. Awesome. The house costs $25,000 more now. So we're going to build millions of housing units. Okay. That sounds kind of like, it actually sounds like housing units sounds like INGSOC for ghettos, like camps, government housing. That's what it sounds like. We will build the housing units. We will take on corporate landlords by nationalizing property and making it ours. You will pay the government rent, but the government will give you $25,000 for your first house. Interest rates will still be 7% because we have not solved the underlying price problem, but that is it. Print, nationalize, and usurp by the state. Here, let's just go into this. Vice President Harris, yada, yada, calling for the construction of 3 million new homes. That's it. The government says, hey, private enterprise, forget whether or not people will be able to buy it. Forget the loans that you'll need to get to break ground. Build houses, build millions of 3 million houses. Lower the rent for hardworking Americans by taking on corporate and major. What the hell? I got to read it. I got to see what this is. In addition to ongoing efforts by Vice President Harris and President Biden to expand rental assistance for hard-pressed Americans, including for veterans, boosting housing supply for those without homes, enforce. Okay, what the fudge? Here we go. Oh, listen to this. Providing historic $25,000 down payments. Here's your $25,000. Your interest rate is still 7%, though. It's government for idiots, except it's government by idiots. Okay, so that's it's a brilliant plan. Brilliant. Now, why did I say this was going to segue into it? So Kamala is a commie. And if this convinces you, and if this is an easy sell, you might look in the mirror and say, I'm a camel tard. But this dude who's selling it, because it's so easy to sell, especially when you say these things and don't ask any more questions. Mike Nellis. Let's like I went down a rabbit hole. Mike Nellis, former senior advisor to Kamala Harris. Okay. Founder of Authentic HQ. That sounded familiar for some reason. When I go over there, what does it say about Authentic HQ? Oh, digital agency partnering with clients to build award-winning programs for progressive causes and campaigns. Okay, Authentic HQ, that sounded familiar. Oh, White Dudes for Harris, organizer for White Dudes for Harris. That sounded familiar too. Then I was like, wait a minute. Authentic. I'm going to close this. Yeah, Authentic. Authentic sounded very familiar. Authentic, as far as I recalled, wasn't that the company that Judge Juan Marchand, his daughter, worked for? It sounded familiar. And I had to make sure because it was called Authentic HQ, and I don't like making mistakes. Authentic. This is authentic.org, because if you go to, hold on, Authentic, got to show you my homework. Authentic_HQ. I'm going to show you my homework because I don't want to make mistakes. Let me break this out. Okay. So this is how you have to just make sure, double check, triple check, so that you don't. You go here, Authentic HQ. Okay. Authentic HQ brings you to Authentic. What? The tweets are protected? Hey, when were they protected? Maybe I didn't notice when I looked at it this morning. Authentic.org. Okay. So we've done it. We've got the chain of connection here. Authentic_HQ is authentic.org, and we are in authentic.org, and I went to the team. Lauren Marchand, after graduating from college, Lauren originally planned to attend Dartmouth's Cultural Studies. So that's another one about as useful as breakdancing. A woman whose father and much of her family immigrated from Colombia. Who's her father? Wait a minute. That's right. Her father's Judge Juan Marchand, who's involved in the New York Trump persecution. Now, people will to steel man it. Okay. The world of politics and PR firms is very small. People know people. That's not proof of corruption or collaboration or conspiracy. It's just a coincidence that the guy who's online right now pushing Kamala Harris policy is a founder of organizer for White Dudes for Harris, founder of Authentic. And in Authentic, what was her position again? Let me see what her position was. Lauren. Oh, president. Just, that minor position within a company whose father is currently, president of Authentic, the company that the people out there now pushing policy for Kamala working with. Judge Marchand, you all know him because we've talked about this at length. This is, it's not coincidence. It's not random. It's not the incestuous milieu of this industry. It's conspiracy and it's corruption, pure and simple. Authentic, the guy who works with Authentic, organizes White Dudes for Harris, pushing Kamala policy, an operative for Kamala online, disclosing it. You just have to connect a few dots to understand that he is an agent for Kamala, founded a company that is raising money for Adam Schiff and other entities off of the prosecution of Trump. And Judge Marchand in September is going to be deciding whether or not to lock up Trump as a result of the 34 felony count conviction that he got out of the corrupt hellhole state of New York. That's amazing. Does anybody else find that amazing? Great way to make houses $25,000 more expensive overnight. No question, no doubt about that. So now, hold on a second, because I don't know if I've lost my mind. Does anybody else find that as outrageous evidence of a disgusting conspiracy where everyone is involved? It's a beautiful orgy. This is an orgy of corruption. Make the PR firm that rakes in the money off the prosecution, where the president of that company's father is spearheading the corruption with the most outlandish, insane rulings. Get online after you've raised a ton of money off the prosecution. Use that money, just leverage it over to push Commie Kamala policy online. Democracy, bitches. That's what it is. It's democracy. And if you are swayed by this, it's a problem. You are an ignorant person, And there, you can be ignorant and not of bad faith, or you can be willfully blind and ignorant of bad faith. If this works on you, you are and must be forced to admit a low information voter who doesn't care about the corruption because you think you're going to get a free home in 10 years, is basically what it is. Oh God. Okay, let me just go to the chat here and see what's going on. And by the way, we're oh, hold on one second. Let me bring this up and see. It caught my eye. I feel like I need to thank this chat for not being misogynists with the way the LawTube Discord is. Just say, like our community chat is, except for the trolls, because the trolls come in to deliberately, ruin things. Our chat is good. Our community is fantastic. I like to say it's the Canadian influence. But this is, I mean, it's wild. You just click. You just start clicking on these dots, and you go, oh, look at that. What looks like a robotic support for terrible communist policies, and then you go all the way down, and lo and behold, it loops right in to Justice Marchand, who in September is going to be doling out a sentence potentially for Donald Trump. All right, which brings us to our next subject of the day. What do I think is going to happen? Did she just take a poop? Okay. What do I think? That was a dog I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Oh, man. What do I think is going to happen in September when Judge Marchand is forced to adjudicate on a sentence, if any, for Donald Trump? I don't know if Andy McCarthy even has seen who I am. I don't think he cares, and I don't expect him to, and I wouldn't be offended if he doesn't, because I appreciate who I am on the grand scale of the world. McCarthy has made a prediction. Andy McCarthy, let's bring it up here. Andy McCarthy, best-selling author, contributing editor at National Review, and fellow at NA Institute, Fox News contributor, former chief assistant U.S. attorney. All right. Excuse me. Andy McCarthy said, oh, no, that was not him. Where is the, come on, man. Did I only tagged him? I didn't get the. Andy McCarthy says he thinks Trump's going to get locked up. He thinks Judge Marchand is going to issue a ruling of jail for Trump. Now, to be determined whether or not it's suspended, whether or not it's, whether or not they avoid sending him straight to jail. The question is, does Trump get sentenced to jail when Marchand issues his ruling on what the sentence should be, if any? Recall now the context for all of this, and I can flesh out my thinking, and my prediction will be out there. I think my prediction is not quite as likely as something of a conviction sentence with a suspended sentence pending appeal, but it's not whether or not the prediction ends up being right. It's whether or not the justification for the prediction is fallacious or ill thought out, and I don't think it is. You will recall back when Marchand delayed the sentencing. It was either, I forget now if it was before or after, or as a result of the Supreme Court ruling, but it's certainly going to be impacted by it, where he delayed the sentencing. I think it was after. Because he has to go reassess what it's going to be after the Supreme Court ruling on immunity. And Judge Marchand had very interesting and specific words. He says, postponing sentencing, if any, to suggest, he might not impose a sentence because the ruling that came down on immunity had a twofold impact on any potential sentence. The ruling came down and said, we all know, it says there's a absolute immunity for absolute presidential acts, a presumptive immunity, and if it's for things on the outer bound, no immunity for purely private acts. But that's an exercise that you have to go through to determine what is absolute presidential, absolute personal, within the outer bounds that requires an analysis. Okay. Some of these cases that Trump is facing have greater ambiguity as to the core charges. Georgia, Florida, and DC. In New York, the hush money case, the question is, does an analysis of the alleged acts or the indicted offenses, does it need to be done? Because recall, every payment that Trump was convicted on was after he became president. Now, some of you are going to say, well, it had nothing to do with him being president because it had to do with hush money payments from before he was president. But you're presupposing the conclusions of an analysis that needs to be done nonetheless under the immunity ruling. Was it a purely personal act? I can understand people saying yes. Was it a presumptively presidential act? I can understand people saying yes. And was it a purely constitutional core duties of the president? I can understand most people saying no. Okay, but the bottom line, that analysis has to occur because temporally, all of the indicted acts or the indictable acts were when he was president. So you don't get to assume anything and then convict and then assume the conviction is still valid. And so there's that. There's above and beyond the immunity issue is the question as to the evidence that was procured. If the evidence that was procured relates to official conduct, it's inadmissible. And that's where there's going to be an issue as well. In the New York case and in a bunch of the other cases, especially the Georgia case, because a lot of the evidence was based on communications between president and chief of staff, which is I would argue is objectively presidential and therefore is inadmissible as evidence, even if you could prosecute for what would be a purely private act or a within the orbit but questionable act. So the question is, what is going to happen in September when this comes back to Justice Marchal? Some people are saying Marchal's hell-bent on imprisonment. He's going to imprison him. He's going to lock him up. It's going to be civil war, yada, yada, yada. I may be wrong, marking it right now, and it's on the interwebs for an eternity regardless. I said, McCarthy, saying he's going to go to jail or he's going to be ordered to be locked up and locked up, not pending, despite any appeal, is it's the long shot. If it happens, you'll end up looking smart, but the world's going to burn. So enjoy that bet as the country burns. I don't see how he gets around the Supreme Court ruling, specifically as relates to evidence that was procured in violation of the ruling. I believe I'll read it and I'll flesh it. My prediction is that Marchal will have to set aside the conviction given the Supreme Court ruling on immunity. They would then have to determine admissibility of evidence and determine if presidential immunity applies to any of the allegations charges throughout the hearing. That would require a new trial in due course, which would only come after the issues are decided, certainly after the election. Only a prediction. I reserve the right to be wrong. Bada bing, bada boom. It's out there for the world to see forever now. Can't take it back. And to flesh it out even more, they got what they needed out of that prosecution. They've been running around like a chicken with their head cut off, screaming, felon, felon, felon. They got the convicted felon title. That's what they wanted out of that. They thought it would hurt Trump, and it didn't, so they were wrong. But they got what they wanted, even though what they wanted ended up hurting them. Fine. As Robert Barnes, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, Sunday night shows are kick-ass. As Barnes says, everybody agrees. If they lock him up, it's basically an automatic election unless they do something really stupid, like try to go with a Butler 2.0. So even if they lock him up, it will, even by their own analysis, they're not stupid. It'll hurt their cause, so why would they do it? They got the felon title. It didn't work, but they got it. That's what they wanted. I believe right now Marchal wants to get out of this mess that he's in. I mean, he knows that maybe he doesn't know that he's a laughingstock, but he knows he's in legally tenuous waters with his conduct in that trial, and he wants out. And he wants out in a way that will allow him not to take the blame for it. It'll allow him to wash his hands and say, sorry, I've done all I can do now, but the Supreme Court, my goodness, those extremists, those MAGA extremists came down. They've tied my hands. I'm sorry. I can't do anything now. We got to go back and do all of these steps that the Supreme Court made us do now in cases involving the president. I think it's outrageous. I think it's an injustice. I think it means we have a king and not a president anymore, but my hands are tied. Got to send it back. Got to overturn the conviction. And we've got to go through this exercise again. That's what I think is going to happen. And if it does happen, I am going to say that I'm the smartest guy, at least in this room right now. Not including the chat, just my room right here. The joke being I'm the only guy in the room right now. That's what I think. I think he wants out. I think he's looking for a way to get out. And I think he's got his out now to blame extreme MAGA justices on the Supreme Court. They've tied his hands and, hey, if it were up to me, I'd lock the son of a bitch up. Nobody's above the law, but I can't, can't defy Supreme Court ruling. It's the law of the land now. And that's it. Throw them under the bus while he covers his own ass. That's my thought. Okay, now here, hold on a second. Viva, but why isn't Winston in the room with you? He actually is. And to show you that I'm at least smarter than Winston, Winston straight up fell in the pool this morning. I was out there. I don't let him out in the back. He's blind. Winston is blind. But typically, he could still, he just walked right into the pool. And I had to go, and nobody wants to see my foot, but I cut my toe rushing to save my beautiful dog. He can swim, and he would have drowned anyhow, but he's an idiot. So I think I'm still smarter than Winston. Okay. So that's it. And now I hear that dog whining, and I don't know why she's whining. She's probably trying to get some food from my wife. My wife. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take the party on over to Viva Barnes Law. No, we're going to go over to Rumble. But before we do that, actually, you know what we're going to do? I'm going to show you RAC, Rumble Advertising Center. Before we go over to YouTube or vivabarneslaw.locals.com, RAC is revolutionizing. RAC is the Rumble Studio, Rumble Advertising Center. It is going to revolutionize the way independent content creators monetize their content. Don't have to worry about getting sponsors, because what they do is I'm on the beta version. I still get access to it. On the beta version, you get to see campaigns that are live auctioning to do ads during streams. You get to see what the company is, how it works, how much you're going to get paid for it. And as you click on it, you can choose which companies you want to work with, because there's a bunch that I'm looking at here on the side. And you can choose which one you want to work with. And since we're talking about inflation, since we're talking about commie policies and how do you protect your money in times of inflation and commie policies, gold. And check this out here. Birch Gold Group. This is, and it's an amazing thing, like owning a Bitcoin. Imagine holding a Bitcoin. That's not exactly what a gold coin is like, but a 1 pound bar is a Bitcoin in your hand. You hold it, and over the thousands of years of human history, that Bitcoin in your hand would always go up in value. We recently had some monumental news that no one is talking about. For the first time ever, the interest rate the US pays on its debt surpassed every individual budget item except Social Security. Understand what that means, people. The budget is going to pay the interest on the money that they've borrowed. It's shocking. It's negligent. It's culpable from the government. That's right. The U.S. now spends more on interest than on national defense or even Medicare. And it's only getting worse as big government continues to spend recklessly. How? $25,000 for a house. That's why savvy Americans are turning to gold, something not tied to the inflation dollar. You too can buy gold with Birch Gold Group. For over 20 years, Birch Gold has helped tens of thousands of Americans protect their retirement savings by converting an IRA into a 401k, by converting an IRA or a 401k into IRA in gold. To learn more, go to birchgold.com/rumble and do it so they know that this translates into actual traffic. I'm gonna destroy that dog one. Do you hear her? I don't know what she's whining about. And get a free no obligation info kit on diversifying your retirement into a gold IRA. Birch Gold has earned an A+ rating with the BBB, the Bureau of Better Businesses, and thousands of happy customers. Protect your IRA or 401k. Go to birchgold.com/rumble to get your free info kit on gold today. And that is how Rumble Advertiser Center works. Hold on, I'm going to let the dog back in here. Ow. Oi. Very, very, very annoying. Okay. Oh, yeah. You know what's going to happen now? Let her back in the office, in my home studio. She's going to poop. Guaranteed, hashtag not a guarantee. All right, so everybody. Not a guarantee. She pooped outside already? Yeah, she pooped out there. All right, at least she pooped out of the... Pudge is the paralyzed... Pudge, come here. If I know you're pooping. Get over here. Oi. All right. For those of you who are new to the channel and have not met Pudge, this is Pudge, the paralyzed puggle. She got a slip disc and paralyzed her back legs 8.5 years ago. We've had her. We took her over when she got paralyzed. And like, there's things that you can do to like stimulate movement. Yeah, you see, like if you push in between the toes, you see how she pushes back? Look at this. So you get your finger in there. There you go. You see that? So this is how you stimulate movement. Sometimes it's like this. There's like a little nerve in the toe. You get some movement back, but after 8 years of paralysis, her muscle is atrophied, and so she doesn't really have much muscle. Okay. With that said, everybody, come on over to Rumble, where the rest of this party shall be taken, because there's still some fun stuff to talk about. And or you can come on over to Locals. Here, this is Rumble. Okay, I think someone's joking. They said you shouldn't be helping that dog. That's un-American. I actually did have someone on the street say, "Why didn't you put that dog to sleep? She's suffering." I was like, "What do you want me to do? You want me to?" First of all, I took her because the person who had her, God bless her soul, was not able to take care of a paralyzed dog, and not everybody can live in a world of shit and piss. We have no carpet, so it's not really a big deal. Pisses and you wipe it up. But I actually had someone on the street say, she was a French Canadian lady up in Montreal, and she's like, T'aurais dû faire utiliser ce chien. It's like, you should have euthanized that dog. It's like, why would I euthanize? The dog is very happy. She gets a lot of pleasure out of eating. She gets a lot of pleasure out of sitting outside in the back Florida sun. Since we moved down here, she's gotten younger. I just say, I don't know when she's gonna. I'll be very sad when she passes on. I just asked the question. She's 14 and a half now. I mean, we've had her for a long time. Okay, so we're going to end this on Rumble, and we're going to end this on YouTube and Twitter, and bring the party on over to Rumble and Locals. And then afterwards, we're going to end it on Rumble and have our Locals after. Let's kill the stream. Am I in here? No, I'm still here. Dude, what the heck just happened? Okay, well, it crashed for a second, but it looks like we just ended on YouTube and Twitter. You killed Locals. Are we back? Hold on, let me see if we're back. I seem to have kicked myself. I didn't kick myself. I didn't do. If this is not a Viva Tech problem, okay? I'm going to refresh, make sure I see my face. Oh, it is. The stream did end. Silly Viva, you might have an opportunity. Oh, are we good? Because I don't see myself here. I think I see. It wasn't my. There's look. It's a Rumble is the studio has. I hit the button and that's what happened. So I'm back. Everything's good. Okay. Woo! Because I got now the one thing I do have to do. I got to go back to YouTube and just end the stream there by going into details. I got a little pimple on my face here. Okay, then we go to live, and I'm going to end the stream so that we don't see that blurry screen on YouTube. End. Done. Okay, people. Good. What are we talking? We still got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But before we do that, Fryhate, you're in Locals. Good. Uppity Livestock. Thank you. That's good. No, because when I refreshed, I was back at the beginning of the stream, but then I hit live. Let me see here. Do we have any? Did I nuke the donations? I might have nuked the donations. There was a plugin on Rumble that allowed you to it would keep the Rumble rants all lined up. It was a great thing so that you wouldn't lose them. And that plugin seems to no longer be working. Apparently, the designer of that plugin is going to try to fix it for the weekend. But I almost missed one. King of Biltong, good morning from Anton's free first shipment for your Biltong using code Viva on www.biltong.com, AntonUSA.com. Try your first Biltong shipping on us. Use Viva10 for 10% for all purchases. For those of you who don't know what Biltong is, it is like moist, wet, sweet South African beefed jerky. And it's not that I don't want to poo-poo on Slim Jim, but I'm going to. Not all Slim Jim. We go fishing. With my kids, we get some beef jerky, and I didn't have the Biltong. And it's like, oh, we didn't bring the Biltong because like, okay, well, we'll get a Slim Jim stick from the gas station. The kid takes a bite. Two kids. One of them is not my kid, and they're like, this tastes funny. And then the kid says, it tastes like Dr. Pepper. Like, what the heck can you tell me it tastes like Dr. Pepper? I take it, and to make sure, just in case it's poison, I take a bite. It's like, oh my God, this does taste like Dr. Pepper. And then I looked at the label of the packaging, and it was beef jerky meets Dr. Pepper. And I'm like, kid, what the hell? Why would you buy that? It's a question whether or not my kid knows how to read now. It was disgusting. It was actual beef jerky. And they mixed it. Like it's like bubblegum and peanuts from The Simpsons, like together at last. Who the hell ever wanted Dr. Pepper flavored beef jerky? It was disgusting. Dr. Pepper is good if you like soft drinks, but I'm a compulsive neurotic, and I don't like drinking soft drinks because it's just absolute wasted sugar, and it's terrible. And I also don't like sucralose. I had yesterday I asked the chat, do I go with the iced coffee or the one leftover can of sucralose crap energy drink that I have in the fridge? And I went with the energy drink, and it just tasted so bad. I threw it out. I wasted $2, and I hate that. Let the jokes fly now. Oh, thank you, Viva, says King of Biltong. My pleasure, Biltong, and I'm going to go. I mean, the stuff is delicious. The Wagyu ghost is quite spicy. Okay, what else do we have left to talk about here today? Because we got some good stuff. Oh, okay. You tell me if I'm crazy. I'm going to bed last night, and I'm looking at Commie Kamala's, Twitter feed, and I come across something where, like, I watch it. I play it. It's a video. And I immediately see something, like immediately. And I was like, oh my God, did I just see what I just saw? This is, I'm not playing the actual video. This is the actual video. When we fight, we win. It's an actual video from Call of. And anybody who follows me on Twitter or in locals who've already seen this, look at this and you tell me if I'm crazy.
Win!
Not supposed to be a gunshot. It's just because I slowed it down.
Win!
Everybody sees what I see, right? It's like I saw it in regular speed. Oh, it wasn't Kamala that posted it. It was what's his face? Her husband. I don't know what his name is anymore. Imhoff. Imhoff. Is that what his name is? I'm not going to remember what it is. Doesn't matter. It was he that posted it, and because the original clip, which I had seen, didn't have the text layover. And then I see the text layover, and look, let me play one more time. You see it, right? It's like I'm not crazy.
Win!
WEF. It's there for the world to see. Okay, it says the WEF. Now the only question is this: am I crazy for noticing this? And I know that some people would say Viva's gone full crazy. He's full conspiratorial mode. And I was like, I'm not attributing a conspiracy to it yet. I'm just saying, you can't tell me it's not there. It's there. I see it. We all see it. In that, WEF are the first three letters to appear in that graphic, the text visual. So there are only, did someone say they don't? Lots of people notice that? Okay, good. There's only 4 options. One of which is it's not there. It's there. I see it. So there's only 4 options as I can tell. One of which is it was done on purpose and it's like code by the cabal. That would be the conspiracy theory. They did it on purpose. It's signaling code for the cabal or an act of provocation. The second option is they did it on purpose, but it's sort of just like an Easter egg. What do they call them? An Easter egg gag. It's like a gag. We think it's funny. Ha ha ha. We got these 3 letters in our title, or we think when we fight we win. I'll put it up. I'll do it as a gag. The third option is they didn't do it on purpose, but they saw it afterwards. And then the fourth option is they didn't do it on purpose and they didn't see it before publishing that ad, which I think is the least likely. So it's either like, I don't know how the graphic works when you put in text like pop-up on iMovie or whatever. I don't know how the letters get generated. So it could have just been a totally random thing, in which case that's still freaking funny. Like if it's randomly generated and it's just a mere coincidence that the first 3 letters that come up with the Commie Kamala's campaign is WEF, that's still pretty freaking hilarious. Or it is a subliminal propaganda campaign to get people used to what they are going to have to accept as their overlords when they are eating the bugs. They did that shit on purpose. That's a question. Did they do it on purpose, as in it was an accident, but they kept it because they thought it would be funny? Or they literally, you could program which letters come up and they picked them on purpose. And so anyways, that was funny. And then I'm sleeping, like people are going to think I'm crazy. Like, okay, call me. I'm not making any conclusions. It's one of 4 options, and one of them is not, it's not there because it's there. I screen grabbed it. I shared it. Okay. Bang. Let's get on to some more fun things. Speaking of, the weirdos pushing the Kamala stuff. Did you guys notice that yesterday, the new talking point, they're still not off the JD is weird yet, but they think they've got JD because they pulled up high school photos. And this is one of the most damning, culpable high school photos that they could have ever found of JD that shows that JD today should be disqualified from running for office because he took a picture in high school in which 3 young girls, I guess they're high school students, were peeing in urinals, and JD, looking a little awkward, although he doesn't look that awkward, is there. The hell is that? Sorry. Mike Sington. He's weird. Kamalatards. Kamalatards or cameltards? Kamalatards or cameltards? Just this is like, it's the most idiotic thing on it. He's not the only one, by the way. I'm just picking on him because just it's the one I had on the backdrop. He's not the only one. This was the news yesterday. Pictures of JD. They call it in drag. To me, it looked like he was either dressed up for a concert or for Halloween. Holy crap, if they go back to high school, to find things to try to discredit fully grown adults who have led productive lives. I'm screwed. I'm screwed for, holy crab apples. The people I went to high school with, the things, oh my goodness. So anyways, Mike Singleton posts this. It's weird. And I said, you know what's weird? Posting pictures of teenagers without their consent and not blurring out the faces of the politically irrelevant ones, because there was no need to show the faces of the 3 girls there. They have nothing to do with anything. And you're posting high school pictures of them acting like high school kids, and you think you got the dunk on J.D. Vance, as opposed to modern issues with no balls walls, lying about his military service, locking down his constituents, making a snitch line during COVID, letting Minneapolis burn before doing anything about it. Yeah. Oh, you got a goofy picture of J.D. Vance in high school, and you post it to the internet without blurring out the faces of 3 innocent girls that have nothing to do with anything as far as I know. But then I had to go to Mike Singleton. This is Mike Singleton. Mike Singleton is a senior executive at NBC Universal, retired, Hollywood insider, blah, blah, blah. Look at the picture. I said, I told him, I said, you're kind of a pervert for doing that. But, I think we all knew that based on your resume and your profile pic. And then people in the community, because I don't know what he looks like. First of all, he looks like Stifler a little bit, which I kind of makes me like him because I like Stifler. But then people in the chat are like, that's not what he looks like anymore. Like, what? They're making jokes. The picture he uses is for luring young men. His actual face is this one. He looks kind of like Tim Rollins or Henry Rollins. Looks like a little skinny version of Henry Rollins, maybe channeling a little Liam Neeson. Healthy looking guy. But what kind of deranged people use a profile pic that's like 20 years old? I mean, it's not an avatar. I mean, I appreciate, okay, I'm not immune from criticism. I use an avatar, so I don't have to see him. But my face is everywhere. What kind of person uses a wildly outdated photo to make them look younger, more vibrant, when they look like a reasonably aging person? Bottom line, dude's a freaking pervert. I mean, it's what kind of person posts pictures of teenage girls online without their consent, without blurring their faces? They don't need. And what kind of person thinks that makes J.D. Vance look bad? It makes J.D. Vance look like he was maybe a little awkward in high school, but it makes me kind of like him. Oh. But then, in other hot, bad takes, by the way, did you see this? Let me see here. Wake Up America. Oh my God. Speaking of freaks. I mean, the other thing is this. I'll tell you my modus operandi afterwards. Wake Up America, your number one source for political gossip. Subscribe to my newsletter, newsletter.consreporters.com. Okay. Rock star Jack White. Someone said something really funny. He's like, oh my God, in America, you've got a Jack Black and a Jack White? We do. Jack White says, okay, rock star Jack White says, quote, anybody who normalizes or treats this disgusting fascist, racist con man, disgusting piece of shit Trump with any level of respect is also disgusting in my book, end quote. What's your message to Jack White? Back when I first met Jack Posobiec, and hold on, let me bring up my screen here. And Poso always had, like, someone would say something stupid on the internet, and he would, within a few minutes, immediately have the receipts as to how this person either said something wildly contradictory not so long ago or longer ago, or have some like terribly, like, they would just pull up dirt. Someone who's pretending to be holier than thou. Oh, how dare Trump use swear words. And then they pull up this person using the N-word 50 times in a tweet 3 years ago. I didn't know how Jack Posobiec did it all the time, so accurately and so quickly. As I've become more versed in the social media industry, you realize what ends up happening is, as you develop a community, especially a community of above average people who feed you good information, the community can find this information because it's impossible to know everything about everybody all the time. The other technique that I've discovered is, all right, Aaron Rupar comes out and says a person is a hypocrite, or how dare this person revert to name calling. The one today was Nancy Mace mispronouncing Kamala's name. And then the talking point of the day is Nancy Mace. It's not just a name. It's common decency to pronounce someone's name properly. This is the leftist talking point today as relates to attacking Nancy Mace. It's disrespectful and immoral to deliberately mispronounce someone's name. It's racist and misogynist. This is coming from the group of people who refused to call President Trump, only by number 45, who called him a fascist, racist, whatever, who called him Mr. Orange Man, the people who call J.D. Vance weirdo, yada, yada, like nobody gives a shit about it. But the people who are feigning outrage at how it's just civil decency to pronounce someone's name properly have literally spent a decade calling Trump in particular the worst names under the sun, not using his name because that would be too dignified, calling him by number, calling him by color, calling JD. So when you know that you're dealing with abject hypocrites, all you have to do is do the proper Google search, pick your target, understand what words you would need to find by way of search engine in order to find evidence of them being idiots before. So when Jack White comes out and says he's a disgusting fascist, racist cunt, disgusting piece of shit, all right, okay, so what would make Jack White a piece of shit? Not necessarily, but you would think about going for convictions, arrests. When you're dealing with rock stars, DUIs, accusations of sexual assault, those types of things. Within 5 seconds, bada bing, bada boom. I didn't know this. Jack White was charged with assault back in 2003. Not a big deal, not the best of things, but there's context which might explain it. What did I find out after that? Jack White was ordered to anger management classes. Well, it seems he might be off his anger management meds. But wait, there's more. So we're dealing with a violent thug with anger problems who was ordered to anger management class. But wait, there's more. This is much more recent. It was 10 years. I think this was in 2013. White Stripe's estranged wife takes out restraining order. Jack White's ex claims harassment and, quote, fears for her and the children's safety, according to the order. In the order, Jack White's estranged wife, Karen Elson, has reportedly sought and received a restraining order against the singer following harassment allegations. She fears for her life and that of her children, and that White is barred from having any contact with the wife whatsoever, except as relates to parenting time with the party's minor children. I know what some of you out there are saying. Viva, don't relish in the abuse of the judicial system to get restraining orders against men because it happens all too often that they don't hear evidence, yada, yada. I appreciate that. I'm sensitive to that. When you're coupling a restraining order with a history of violence and anger management, I'm not going to say there's no room for doubt. I'm just going to say I've satisfied my reluctance to jump on one and only one accusation from a decade ago. But it's ironic. Jack White, who accuses someone of being a disgusting piece of shit, not worthy of respect, violent anger management, restraining order against his wife, model citizen for Democrats, for anti-Trumpers. When that's what anti-Trumpers look like, you might want to take pride in being a Trumper. When that's what the people calling MAGA fascists look like, you might want to be proud of being a MAGA American. So that's that. Is there anything else? I think that's it. You'll send to jail. We've done everything. Anger management, Brickhouse nutrition, Olympic, Raygun. Trump could be sent to jail. Duh. People? Oh, no, hold on. Well, I will give everybody this tweet. This is the hold on one hot second. Mike Nellis, former senior advisor for Kamala, organizer White Dudes for Harris, founder, authentic, yada, yada. Okay, I'm going to give everybody this. Did I just close it? I'll close this one here. And before we head on over to Locals for our Locals after party, I'll give everybody this here. Bada bing, bada boom. Locals is here. Oh, no, this is the tweet. Sorry, I'm giving you the tweet. Tweet. Boom. Let's go to the chat in Rumble and see what's going on here so that we defund the alphabetical mafias. It says Barbisa Ariane. Yeah, well, the last person who said that, who was in a position of power, they sure showed him, and they tried to do the exact same thing to this current one. Forecasting Love and Weather or Hospital Playlists are Korean series worth seeing. Yep. No Man 1984 says Viva has an excellent grasp of human nature. I tell you, like, if you don't have a good grasp of character assessment as a lawyer, you're gonna get screwed. And you can hone it, and you can certainly learn things as you go along, as I did. I used to be not a lot more optimistic, but you learn from your mistakes very, very quickly. And when you don't trust your gut, there are flags that go off that you notice. And then once you don't trust your gut once, and you end up with a manic bipolar client who's stalking you and causing you all sorts of grief, you trust your gut a lot more in the future, and you tend to learn and really internalize the red flags as to who are problem people and who are not. The Police have one song from every LP that they made over 1 billion spins. What am I reading here? I cannot believe Jack White got Best Guitar Player honors. So disrespectful to actual good guitars, says El Captain Beefheart. El Captain Beefheart. Yeah, I was never, the White Stripes had some good music, but guitar was not what they were known for. Or at least I don't know what good guitar is. I just know that Slash is the greatest guitarist of all time, and Oasis is the best band of all time. No, I don't know that, but no, the guitaring in the White Stripes was always very simple and always basic, as far as I could tell. Still not banned here says it's just so frustrating when people lie, and especially in legal regard, of course. I hope the Australians love their children and ban breaking. Eddie Van Halen is the best, says Mrs. Real Freedom Fighter. If I had to guess the best guitarist, it would be Slash for me, but that's only because Guns N' Roses is reminiscent of a certain time in my life when I was a kid. Who else would be a good guitarist? I know everybody says Jimi Hendrix, and I at the risk of saying something very sacrilegious, I never liked Jimi Hendrix. Not as a human. I tried to get into the music even back in the day. Joe Satriani, I can appreciate that. Stevie Ray Vaughan, I can appreciate that. I never got into Jimi Hendrix. I never understood what was so good about it or good about him, other than the fact that it was new music for the time. Fireball Bikes says civilians get arrested, politicians and government officials get promoted. No question about that. Santana is pretty good too. And the reason I know Santana is because they have a few appearances with Lonely Island. If anybody hasn't seen Popstar Keep On Keeping On, the Lonely Island movie, it's a movie that makes me happy to watch. Very crude, very crass, male and female nudity, but I think it's one of the greatest, most underrated comedies of all time. All right, people, we've done good. So Tuesday, 12:30, Sam Sorbo. I do not want to define her as being Kevin Sorbo's wife. She is doing amazing work in the homeschooling movement. And we're going to talk about that because I've got my own questions. I might have my own future plans, and I'm thinking about it. And so I want to have a discussion with Sam Sorbo about this. I met her at the PragerU event, and she's amazing. So she's going to come on here on Tuesday, and I'm going to go on her channel at some point in the near future as well. Trying to make it. It's going to happen with Vinny Oceana, but I will be with the Unusual Suspects next week. And I'm going to go around where, I love making appearances on other people's podcasts. I was just on with Eric Hunley for 30 minutes before this one, but had to jump off for my new time slot at 12:30 daily. And that is all. So 12:30 daily, all of the podcast audio goes on Podbean afterwards on a podcast format. The entire stream, for those who don't watch it, who are not watching it all, the entire stream, including the portion that's not on YouTube, goes onto Viva Clips afterwards. So you can go check that out there. I will be doing a car vlog this afternoon on the Disney case, which is outrageous, which we're going to look at in the locals portion of this after party. I got the motion to dismiss of the wrongful death suit against Disney for the peanut allergy, or the allergy against the person who died. It's so freaking preposterous. It's beyond words. Frank Zappa says El Captain Beefheart. I smashed a guitar once because someone played a Guns N' Roses song on it. Blasphemy, says Iguana Dan. And Chet Atkins for sure, Glenn Campbell. And then Roxy Ann says, my ex told my son to go to Vegas for $5,000 to marry. How to get him to go to Glenburg, Tennessee instead. Roxy Ann says, time for a car vlog. I'm going to get one done in the car this afternoon. I need to get the judgment or the ruling, which I'll try to find before we go over to locals. So everybody, that is all. Rumble, thank you for being here. It's been fantastic. We're going to go to locals. We're going to have our after party there. It is, as in Rumble Studio, it goes to supporters only, but I have a feeling everybody watching in Rumble in locals right now is a supporter. If you want to support the work that I do here, and the absolute biggest blessing on earth to be able to do this as a job. I did it before I ever made any money doing it. And the fact that it's become a sustainable job it's my ikigai. It's the biggest blessing on earth. If you want to support what I do here, Viva Fry, you can get some merch. It's not cost effective from a shirt perspective. It's like $30 for a shirt. Margins are terrible anyhow, but it's good to have some merch that, if you want it. Bumper stickers are cool. Viva barneslaw.locals.com, $10 a month or $100 a year if you get the whole thing. Or you can become a non-supporting member and you can get these things called coins and do with it as you wish. And that's it. Stay tuned, like, share, and share with someone who you think might not like to wake them up. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you Sunday night. 6 o'clock show is going to be a banger because I know Barnes wants to talk about Candace Owens. So we're going to talk about Candace Owens Sunday night. And if you're not coming over to Locals, I'll see you Sunday or later through vlog. And if you are, I'll see you at Locals and otherwise Sunday night. And next week is going to be amazing. Ending. Thank you all. Let's see if this doesn't glitch out. Going to Locals now. Okay. Now it says the stream will be for local supporters only in 27 in 30. So now they've increased this to 30 seconds. While this happens, hold on. Oh, just in time, people. Bam. Okay, so check it out. Oh, hold on a second. I got, this is the iced coffee. Now, you want to know neurotic? You hear a story once and it traumatizes you and you never forget it. My mother, when we were growing up, because she's a neurotic person, it's like, don't ever drink out of cans when they're bent. Like when they're crushed like this. And like, it's true, by the way. Hold on, let me see if I can bring this up for Locals. Don't drink from dented cans. It sucks being neurotic, people. Look at this. Don't drink from dented cans. And you know why? I can tell. I'm not even going to look at it. There's like a little rubber, like a plastified interior that protects the aluminum from whatever reactions with whatever the substance is. And if it gets dented, that protective layer can break and you can have oxidization, contamination, whatever. Let's see what it says. Not that I trust the USDA, the United States Dumbass Association. Okay, let's see why it's Okay, knowledgeable article. Is food in damaged cans dangerous? As long as the can is in good shape, the content should be safe to eat. Never use food from cans that are leaking, okay, obviously, bulging, obviously, or badly dented. Cracked jars or jars with loose bulging, yada, 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 or any container that spurts liquid when opening. Such cans could contain Clostridium botulinum. While extremely rare, a toxin is produced it's the worst in canned goods. Don't taste such food. Even a minuscule amount, holy crap, am I already scaring myself? Even a minuscule amount of botulinum toxin can be deadly. Recommended storage times are as follows: 2 to 5 years for low acid, such as meat, poultry, fish. 12 to 18 months for high acid. What the hell's botulinum? What is this? Cripe. Why did I do this? Now Locals is going to watch a panic attack in real time. Hold on one second. Here, we're going here. What is... It's a bacteria that produces dangerous toxins under low oxygen conditions. Oh, we're going to the WHO. We're going from the USDA to... toxins are one of the most lethal substances known. Botulinum toxins block nerve functions that can lead to respiratory and muscular paralysis. Human botulism may be referred to foodborne botulism, infant botulism, wound botulism, inhalation botulism, or other types of intoxication. Jeez Louise, how do we even survive? It's wild. Oh, yeah. And yeah, so this can was dented, but the act of living causes death, says that one again. Yeah, but I just want to put it off for as long as humanly possible, but not forever. I will not go full cyborg. Oh, Lordy. Okay, let's go to all chat. So we're here. WHO is ASSO. Ask who? You can have like ASS WHO. The OG Viva. Oh my goodness, that's with Barney. It says the old school Viva vlog merch mascot way back in the pre-Barnes days. You know, it's funny, Talix. I don't even know how to close it, but that comes off Teespring, I think, which was like the YouTube affiliated version. This is a mug that says Vlog Dog, and that was Barney the Frenchie. Don't know what happened to Barney. Viva therapy session not going good, says USA Now. I actually had discussions with a cognitive behavioral therapist. I will destroy a therapist. I will make them crazy. Mm-hmm. All right, what we want to talk about? We want to talk about the guys. Look at this. I mean, we're gonna read this through, so it'll facilitate my homework later on today. So you heard about the case. I think I sent the link out, so we might already have seen it. Dented is okay. Bulging cans are bulging cans are. Oh, sorry. Okay, too many thoughts. What was it called? YouTube. It was called the Emu. It's the guy's name, Emu. Coconut death. What was the name of the channel? Chubby Emu. A man drank coconut water. Okay, guys. Blow your freaking mind. Here.
Thinking about your
I'm
mental
not playing the whole
health
thing.
and all-
I'm gonna give you
A
the link.
man drinks suspicious coconut water for lunch. This is what happened to his brain. AC is a 39-year-old man.
Have you guys ever seen this
presenting
channel?
to the emergency room,
I'm gonna stop right here. Well, wait, one more second.
unconscious. Paramedics tell the admitting nurse that they found him in his house, sweaty, nauseous, with pale skin, and laying down in a crooked position.
All right, I'll stop it there. The punchline: the dude got one of those refrigerated coconuts that have the coconut juice. I'll never do it. This is why I was so scared to even drink from a fresh coconut from a tree in the Florida Keys. The dude had one of those pre-wrapped, they needed to be refrigerated coconut with coconut water inside, and it had been on his table for a month. And he took one tiny sip before he knew that it was rancid and whatever, and then he died. And now you watch something like that once, link here. You watch something like that once. Yeah, James C.C. Kelly says, I love that channel. I watch it with my kids, but I also don't want them to grow up to be neurotic like me. So I have to be careful not to break my kids the way my mother did not break me. She actually, who knows? I might have eaten that bulging can of Chef Boyardee had I not listened to my neurotic mother. Yeah, it was spoiled for a month. Oh, it might have been more than a month. USA Now. Okay, so that was it. Yeah, it was called the Chubby Emu. I don't know why it's called Chubby Emu. It sounds like a very phallic or gross name. Okay. At the drive-thru, this is what we're talking about, people. I haven't found the decision yet. This is the Florida case of the woman who died from an allergy after going to a Disney restaurant that apparently specializes in being allergy sensitive. You all know the story because it's been in the news now. Yeah, I just got an email from Barnes saying, also, we got to talk about the Disney arbitration. Yes, sir, Barnes, we're talking about that. This is the motion for dismissal or the motion to compel arbitration. A man's wife dies from an allergy. She goes to a restaurant that's called the Great Irish Pubs, I guess, or I don't know what it's called, but it's a Walt Disney Resort restaurant. Apparently, from what I understood, specifically designed to cater to people's allergies. She says, I have a very serious peanut allergy and milk allergy. Long story short, she's dead about 2 hours later, and it seems that there was peanuts and or milk in it. Her husband sues for wrongful death. Disney sues to compel arbitration on the basis that the husband, I won't even spoil it, we're going to get there. Defendant Walt Disney is a company, fine. Compelling plaintiff Jeffrey Piccolo as representative to his wife Kanokparn Tangsan to arbitrate all claims against Walt Disney Productions, is what they're calling it? Oh, Parks and Rec. Okay. Case involves an allergic reaction to decedent allegedly experienced after dining at the Raygun Road Irish Pub located in Disney. It's a pub. Complaint alleges the relation between the landlord and tenant. The complaint alleges agency relationship between landlord and tenant. But the only facts supporting the theory are representations about Raygun Road's allergen-free food on the Walt Disney website. Piccolo alleges that he relied on the website in choosing the dine. I see, now I understand this. There's a little bit of ambiguity here. Piccolo ignores that he previously created a Disney account and agreed to arbitrate all... No, there's nothing. I'm sorry. Whatever benefit of the doubt I had for a second is gone now. Piccolo ignores that he previously created a Disney account and agreed to arbitrate all disputes against the Walt Disney Company or its affiliates arising in contract, tort, warranty, etc. This broad language claims it means that the claims have to go to arbitration. I want to read one thing here. It's the relationship between the restaurant and Disney that I'm curious about. Okay, so he filed the wrongful death. He accepted the Disney subscriber agreement. In November 2019, Piccolo initially created a Disney account through Disney Plus website. Holy crap, I don't think we have Disney Plus, but I'm canceling it if we do. He completed the registration form, yada, yada, yada. Immediately above was a disclosure notifying Piccolo that he's agreeing to the terms and condition, and it includes arbitration. Fine. The terms contain a binding arbitration provision. Fine. Oh my goodness. The arbitration clause also provides that the FAA governs the Federal Arbitration Association. Is that what it is? Governs all disputes and empowers the arbitrator with exclusive authority to resolve any dispute, yada, yada. Fine. The My Disney Experience terms and condition. In 2023, he also agreed to My Disney Experience terms and conditions. At that point, Piccolo agreed to the terms. He logged into his Disney account. After entering the email address, oh my God, are these a bunch of sons of bitches? The website included a box that said, I've read it, yada, yada. Terms of it. Okay, fine. Argument. I just want to know what the relationship is now between the restaurant and Disney. Okay, so we understand the argument for that. He agreed to the binding arbitration under Disney's terms. We agree to that. I don't see any of the chat right now, chat, so I'll get there in a second. Okay, so we understand the agreement for the consent, if we want to call it that. Whether or not he reviewed the terms as immaterial, I'm not sure that that's true now, but Disney terms delegate arbitrability issues to the arbitrator. Fine. I just need to know what the relationship to the restaurant is. Okay, it includes the JAMS rules, which is the international arbitration. Here we go. WPDR, they've not waived their rights. Okay, they're fine. Wow, am I not going to find this here? The court should stay the proceedings pending arbitration under Section 2, the referable action, yada, yada, yada. Likewise, Piccolo remaining's claims against the Great Irish Pubs should be stayed. Okay, so maybe here. When the case presents both arbitral and non-arbitrable claims, courts have the discretion to stay non-arbitrable claims. In doing so, the courts have considered the expense, inconvenience, possibility of inconsistent determinations, whether arbitral or non-arbitrable claims arise out of the same set of facts. There's no question that Piccolo's claims against Walt Disney and the pubs involve the same facts. Piccolo's complaint amounts to a shotgun pleading. Allowing the case to move forward risks creating inconsistent liability determinations. For example, liability against Great Irish Pubs must be established before reaching Piccolo's agency claims. Piccolo proceedings will involve the same facts and legal questions. Thus, it would be problematic for this litigation to continue since each tribunal. So if he gets a guilty ruling, a liability finding, against Great Irish Pubs is going to say, I presume is going to say Disney holds us, indemnifies us because we're their agent. And in which case he's saying you got to skip straight to us, but you have an arbitration because you signed into a Disney Plus account. Wow. In any event, these proceedings might ultimately be stayed should Great Irish Pubs join the arbitration. For these reasons, issue an order compelling Piccolo to arbitrate all claims against WDR, staying this action pending. Well, we know that it was granted. That is so dirty. That is so flipping dirty. Disney is the landlord. But why would the landlord... I understand it. Okay, fine. So it's their landlord. They say, look, this is one of our restaurants on site. We warrant that they are... what's the word I'm looking for? Good for allergies, allergy friendly. Can a video streaming agreement mean that a physical property can never be sued? I think obviously the ramifications are absolutely wild. And I was talking about with Hundley, just like Hundley and Phil. Can you imagine how many Disney Plus subscribers are there? Hold on one second. Disney Plus subscribers. I mean, can you imagine if how many? 153 million people. Can you imagine this? I mean, there's 153 apparently 153 million Disney Plus subscribers worldwide. Can you imagine if 153 million people, by creating a Disney Plus account, have undertaken to submit to arbitration for any and all claims relating directly or indirectly to Disney and or any of its agents for like physical harm? I mean, it's oh my goodness. Okay. Viva, a lot less once this news goes global, says Ganthet. No, I mean, it's, but then the question is going to be, imagine even if you cancel your Disney Plus, anything arising when you had that agreement, or who knows, maybe they'll argue if you ever signed it. It's not because you canceled the agreement that any dispute you have with Disney afterwards is not submitted to arbitration. Oh, what is that? Viva Nam. That's a funny meme. So that's it. That's wild. That sounds like legal gymnastics, says Steve Britton. Yeah, no, it sounded like legal gymnastics that a judge granted Disney arbitration ruling. Let me see if I can find the ruling. Disney wrongful death lawsuits. Okay, I see I have to go with maybe PDF. Does anyone have the PDF of the actual ruling here? Oh. No, that's the motion to compel. I can only get the motion to compel. So let me just keep this one up, and I'm going to make sure to keep the other one here. If anybody has the judgment, I would love to. I mean, I'm going to find it. August 2nd. That's the filing. I'm only getting the filing. I'm not getting the ruling. Oh, maybe no, that's from 2021. All right, well, that's it. Let me go back to the chat here and see what's going on. Okay, awesome. What else? Let's go into the chat here. It makes it easier to navigate. Make sure I got all the tipped. The act of living causes death, says that one again. Sammy, the campaign is assuming people identify the singular pronouns with. Okay, fine. I got that. Ganthet, your transformation as former Canadian is complete. Got that. Should start a dance school. I went jogging this morning and saw a massive gator in the canal as I'm jogging by it, but I was well away from it, and it's in a populated, built-up area. That one again says locals should put a like button on chat. I got a few questions and a few reminders or recommendations for locals, so I will ask for that as well. That would be a good idea. What do we got here? I have an allergy horror story, says Gidge62. I am allergic to 11 different strains of mold and had to get an allergy shots every week. One time, the nurse accidentally gave me an injection of someone else's serum. I was panic-stricken. Thank God I wasn't seriously harmed, but my trust in the clinic has never been the same. I was talking about this with Hundley and Phil Holloway before, and it's not like it's not my horror story. It's just when I went to this camp, anybody who's from Montreal knows this story because this kid died on a camping trip. They were on a hiking and tripping, H&T, and this kid, I won't mention his name, my age at the time, it's like 30 years ago, died because they were cutting the sandwiches while they were on a hiking trip, and they cut this kid's sandwich who had a peanut allergy with a knife that they used to spread peanut butter on another sandwich, and the kid went into anaphylactic shock. They were hours away from the nearest location. They did CPR on the kid for 12 hours, the counselors, and the kid died. And it's like ever since then, I was like, I've been traumatized by proxy. I don't know if that's the word. Like if I had a deathly allergy to peanuts or anything, I mean, I wouldn't leave it in the hands of anybody. I mean, I don't even care if they pass it off as being an allergy-friendly place. You might have a compromised living in that bring your own food to restaurants, but leave your life in the hands of like other people who you don't know. People are idiots in the best of circumstances. I just would not eat out, like, period. I know it's crazy, but as it is, I don't eat out regardless. It's just because I don't like people making food. But yeah, one of the people says, let me see this here. One of the people says, smart, if close relatives have paid to give away their DNA, of course, they're also giving away much of yours. One of the reasons we refuse the PCR and NAT COVID tests, technically unsuited for the purposes of DNA, is the harvesting of DNA. It's reportedly been confirmed that the swabs were used to introduce foreign substances into the upper nasal canal near the brain via those swabs. For the PCR process, a plain ordinary swab would do. Seemed a red flag. Yeah, I don't want to think about all the fucking dumb things I did during that pissed me off. The I only did that once, and Obviously the jibby jab, but then we got the meme. We got the meme that Elon put up. Oh, Hillary Clinton next to Bill Clinton. I bet he's thinking about another woman. Why haven't they arrested her yet? Who put that up? That's fantastic. That one again says it's time for beer. And James C. Kelly says, hold on, it's time for beer. James C. Kelly says, if severe allergy on a trip, must always have 2 EpiPens on hand and Benadryl. Epi lasts 20 minutes each. Ben takes 20 minutes. Yeah, it's everyone in the community was traumatized from that. I mean, especially the counselors who did CPR on the kid for 12 hours. RP McMurphy says, people die from that navage thing where you have water blown up one nostril and out the other. Yes, RP McMurphy, if you don't boil the water first. You got to boil the water. You can't just use tap water. The brain eating stuff is one of the one that always gets me. Like even, going to the ocean is less of a concern because it's salt water, but like any of these fresh waters where it's warm water, you have bacteria everywhere. You got to boil the water. You cannot even use just regular tap water. It's a known thing. You know what pisses me off? Oh, we got what grinds my gears. The idiots that drive new Toyotas and BMWs, but say they can't afford EpiPens. I see something here. I just got to, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry, I just got something. Now you want to know another level of neuroses, people? If I don't get a full mouthful on the last sip, I feel very irritated. So I'm just going to take, there's about this much left. It's going to be one mouthful. Yeah, hold on. The chat's still going on in Rumble. Kamala is anti-communist, and you just don't understand, which actually makes her bad. That has to be a troll. Forget that. We're not paying attention to. We're not paying attention to the Rumble chat. All right, the EpiPens did double in price in one day a few years ago, so it was an issue. And what do we got here? Good heavens, Viva, you definitely do have OCD, Stephen Britton. There's nothing more annoying. See that? No, I go for the leftover. But if it's not a full mouth on the last gulp, it's like you never had anything. What do we got here? What is this? There's a picture of kids running with cats. What is this? It looks like a mosh pit and cats in a mosh pit, but the cats can't be real. That's not a real picture. Who's that coming from? RP McMurphy. Viva, hold on. Not this one. This one. Viva is an odd duck, I say. Well, you want to know another thing? We gave a bunch of stuff away to Goodwill yesterday. They come to the house, open up the garage, a bunch of bags are there. They took the freaking bike pump. I wanted to go biking yesterday. My father I didn't send you, I didn't post a picture of the bike. Okay, I got to go to Dick's and get a bike pump. They took our bike pump, and I'm sitting there like, I spent 40 minutes looking for the freaking bike pump. I was like, where the hell is it? I saw it. I pumped up the other bikes 2 days ago. Go around the house. I'm like, my wife's like, oh, the Goodwill came, and they took our bike pump. Son of a bee sting. Viva, can't stop laughing. That's M-May. Sounds like a newish name. M-May 14. I would have remembered seeing that name. And let's see what else we got. Okay, so anyways, I got to go to Dick's and get a bike pump. I'm gonna pump up my dad's bike. It's it's so beautiful. I don't think they've appreciated in value over the years. It's a Colnago, and it's so beautiful. I'm gonna see. The only thing is I'm nervous about biking on the roads here because at the risk of saying something that's going to get me canceled, up where I live, when you get into the populated areas, there's a lot of old people driving cars on the road. A lot of old Jewish grandmothers who can't really see over the steering wheel. And there's a lot of, whenever I go through an intersection, I always notice a lot of like rubble. Is the word rubble? Like you go through intersections on Glades and Jog, for whatever the reason. There's always broken glass. And so I'm going to bike only on the path that's off the road. I'm not going to bike on the road. But I got to use my dad gave me his road bike, and I really, really want to use it. But the freaking flipping tires, I couldn't pump them up yesterday. Just pump it. So, yeah. So that's it. What else we got? I wanted to show you something. I can't show you. I wouldn't. I saw the artwork that Pudge left in the house the other day. So get some questions in. We'll do some rapid fire questions for the next few minutes, and then I got to go get kids. I'm going to pick up a bike pump and go biking. I jogged this morning, so I'll just get a little more exercise in this afternoon. Drunk driving laws don't work, Viva, says Furby Slayer. Well, forget it. I mean, like an old person is effectively a young drunk driver. America's a dangerous place, says Dashman. Okay, I'm going to close this up here. No, but it's like, dude, we're in a neighborhood where I think the average age is like 85, or at least 60, 70 dickety too. And when we came out here, hold on a second. It's funny when we came down to check out places, or when we were looking about moving. What up, Loxahatchee? No. You want to go fishing? Is it raining? You want to say hi to the world? It's the locals world. Here, come here. Locals?
Hello.
Oh, were you crying? Why
No.
were you crying? Don't cry. Don't. Shh, it's okay. Oh, it's raining.
Yes.
Oh well, I'm not going biking then. Oh, watch your foot. Okay, get out of here. We're gonna go. By the way, my kid's joined a gang. He's joined the Bloods. So it's like you got full red. Check this out. Full red. He's a no. Come on. A little. Get over here. Get out of here. Okay, I guess it's raining. No biking. And we're going fishing. We are going fishing. He says he doesn't want to go fishing. And then at 6 o'clock, he says, let's go fishing. I said, well, we can't go fishing now because it's too late. Okay. Other people get in the left lane and go 20 miles an hour. Viva afraid of the rain. I'm not afraid of the rain, James C. Kelly. It's crazy. I am actually, it's what's it called? Fear of lightning. I get extreme. I mean, I get uncontrollably anxious when there's lightning. Like, I told you guys we were on the pier one time. We were fishing, and I look at my kid, and his hairs starts going like this. Like, we're gonna die. And like you've never seen anybody run. I ran so fast down the Deerfield Pier into the booth. Like, I thought we were gonna die, because they always say, you thought it. Here, buy some bike pump. Oh, this is hold on. How do I hold on? The one again. Let me pin this here. It says a tip says here, buy some air for your bike pump.
Where's the switch?
I do have those little air cartridges, but I'm not wasting those. I'm gonna go get a bike pump. Okay, the one again. Thank you very much. Let's do it. I'm gonna go get that bike pump. If it's raining, it's a good day to do it. I'm gonna clean up the bike, oil off the chain, squeeze out some Pudge, walk some Winston, and start boning up for Sunday night's show, because there's a lot to look about. I love lightning with a passion. It's so cool, the storms I have seen, says RP McMurphy. I don't want to get struck by lightning, because I know that if I get struck by lightning, there's going to be a ton of people on Twitter who's going to say Viva. Fine, they're going to say they will rejoice in Viva getting struck by lightning. Bye-bye. All right, locals, we're ending it, and everybody else, you know what to do. So, oh, there, I got it.
Hello.
Get out of here. Okay, we're done. I will see you all Sunday night, later this afternoon, ending the stream, ending it. Okay, we're